Rabbi.
You have to do it as Hashem b'simcha. That's all I can say. You have to be with simcha. That's the most important thing. You have to be with simcha. Take a few l'chaim during the day.
Now we're talking. But you know what? You say, if you do it Hashem b'simcha, not only when you Oved Hashem, you have to be simcha. All your life, without you walk in the Oved Hashem, you have to be in simcha.
I'm drinking Corona. Look, you can't see.
I don't have a video now.
I'm drinking Corona.
L'chaim, think for me one.
Absolutely, L'chaim.
Yeah, and lucky you don't have to drive home. So you can drink another one.
I tell you something. The one good thing about this whole thing is I'm definitely learning more than I did before.
You're not the only one. You're davening better. Take me now davening double, triple when I home.
Yeah. But we have a minute on the clock.
I said every word, Havana.
Can you talk?
You almost can make dinner in your house, huh, Nathan?
Every night, and you don't have to be in the room. You could be a class every night.
Baruch Hashem.
You don't have to be in the room.
But more important to be in the room.
Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, good.
Rabbi Marsov?
Yeah.
Please, everyone mute.
Can you dedicate the shiur my mother Yotza today? Naima Bat Farha, the daughter of the Ben Ish Chai Shochet.
Okay, fine. I also want to mention tonight a very good friend who unfortunately passed away from this terrible virus, Rami Cohen, Avram Cohen. Reb Avram Cohen verbringed in our shul, I think it was 3 years ago. I had a very sweet encounter with him twice. Once I was being megayer someone, and the last minute I had a problem with the moil, who's a famous moil, but the whole thing with metzitza bepeh. At that time it was a big issue. So I asked him, I just wanted to make sure that the moil is not like that is not a moil. That he said, "What, are you crazy? Are you crazy?" I said, "No, I'm sorry, I'm not using you." But that was the night before. That next day was scheduled for the bris. So I called up my great uncle Reb Zalman Shagalov Zechrono Levrocha, and he said, "Oh, I have a good idea for you. Go to my friend Rami Cohen." No problem, Rami Cohen. We ended up coming to his house. He did the bris in his house. He was so nice. We sat and we spoke to him. He gave me a copy of his sefer. It's a terrific sefer. And it's at the end he has a collection about bris, and he also wrote a book, The Youngest Partisan. It's in English, a terrific book. If you hadn't read that book, it's really worthwhile to go out and buy that book.
I bought it from him.
Amen.
And then 3 years ago, we had a boy in our shul. He came to do the bris. Adam Rhodes and his wife had a son, and he came to our shul. Right. He stayed for a few hours. He took l'chaim. He told stories, a lot of stories he told. He told some unbelievable stories. Mainly he told about his Rebbe. And the Rimnitzer Rebbe. He loved the Rimnitzer Rebbe.
Crazy.
And he told us how the relationship between the Rimnitzer Rebbe, who had a lot of Mesiris Nefesh to Brissen, working together with Lubavitch Chassidim like the Mendel Futafas. And he told us that the Rebbe once sent to Russia a Tehillim for the Rimnitzer Rebbe. The rest of his life he cherished that Tehillim very much. He kept that Tehillim all the time. He was very close to this to the Rimnitzer Rebbe. When he came to our shul, he just had published a book about the Rimnitzer Rebbe, and he gave a signed copy to me and Yosef. Yosef gave him a tour of the library. They realized that they were in the same business. Yosef said, "Oh, I remember you always at the front of the line to get the permits for building." They were doing building in the same. They were doing at the same time building in Staten Island. Anyway, he was a very sweet person, and he was a very special person. So if you get a chance, if you didn't read his book, it's definitely kedai to not that book I'm talking about. If you didn't read the book about the Yonkers partisan, it's kedai to read it.
I have that.
He said at the end that after the liberation of the camps and after he was successful as a partisan, obviously that he was accepted in the Czechoslovakia, now Czech Republic, as a hero, and he had great a partisan. He was a fighter in the forests together with the group against the Nazis
In the underground.
and they had done several very successful campaigns against the Nazis that helped the Allies. So when there was finally the victory of the Allies, you can imagine that his group of partisans were celebrated as a group of heroes. I mean, he had a really hard time. I mean, the partisans, not all of them are very sympathetic to the Jews. He writes in his book there was a partisan that was a German that had it in against him, and he thought that this guy's going to kill him, and he sabotaged the guy's gun in a way that when the guy once picked up his gun and they were doing practice shooting, it exploded in the guy's face and the guy died. You have to have some tenacity for that. But listen, he thought that this German who was against the Nazis but also hated Jews had it in against him, so he made sure to kill him. Anyway, he came back to Pressburg, a hero, and he said that he immediately started doing business. He right away hopped of a business idea, and there was cigarettes here, and there was no cigarettes there, but there was more soap in Pressburg and less and cigarettes there, whatever. And he was having trucks going from one place to the other, bringing the soap and delivering the cigarettes. He became wealthy, and his father told him, Avram, just go back to yeshiva and go learn Torah. But the lure of making money was very strong. And he said for the rest of his life, his regret was this year or 2 years that he spent making money instead of going back and learning Torah, because at the end, the Bolsheviks came to regime and they took over, and all the wealth went down the tubes anyway. He said, had he sat and learned Torah for those 2 years, he would have it for the rest of his life. He would have it in his pocket. No one could take it away. The Bolsheviks couldn't take it away. Okay, so let the shir also be mentioned in the schools of Avram Cohen. Rami Cohen, the Rebbe, he was very proud about the fact that the Rebbe called him My Avram Avinu. The Rebbe called him, you're My Avram Avinu. The Rebbe had titles for people. Like there was a guy at Abzusha in 770, he was also a partisan, and he took a bullet hit, and therefore he couldn't move his shoulders well. And the Rebbe loved him. The Rebbe called him My Partisan. As I mentioned the other day, Wo behält sich mein Partisan? Is in the Wald? Wo is er? In the Wald? The Rebbe turned to him, Wie viele Chaim hast du gesagt? So, anyway, Rabbi Avram Cohen, the Shabila Zech and the Shmosai. We're talking about Rabbi Avram Cohen's regret that he wasn't learning Torah for these 2 years after the war. This entire kapitul that we're learning tonight, Kapitul Kuf Yutes and Tehillim, is all about the pleasure of learning Torah. And the Radak in Pasuk Mem Zayin writes that the Torah is the Shashuim, is the delight of Dovid HaMelech. By the way, this word repeats itself constantly. Yeah, it's delightful to see this cute kid, Nussi. There is the delight of learning Torah, and the word delight repeats itself many, many, many times throughout this entire kapitel. The Radak writes, even when I sit alone, I am filled with pleasure. What does this mean? Even when I'm sitting alone, I'm filled with pleasure. So I think the pshat is like this. The Chassidus says when you have midos, if you want to be kind to someone, you have to have someone else to be kind to. If you're locked up in solitude and there's no one there to be kind to, you can't be kind to that person, right? The same with all the midos. But sha'ashuim, which is delight, you don't need someone else for it. There's expression in Chassidus sha'ashuya melech ba'atzmusay, an inner delight. In general, Chassidus has a shackle of Ataria. What's the deepest thing in a person? There is Machshava Dibur Maisa, that's not who the person really is. These are tools to express myself, to process who I am. I use my brain, my thoughts. Then there is Midos, there is Seichel. Who am I? There's my Ratzon, and then there's Tainug. Chassidus says that Tainug is the deepest thing. A person is what's a person? What his delight is, that is the person. What is your delight? That's who you are. In order for you to connect in the deepest way to the Eibishter, Zok the Rebbe in a Maimer that we once learned, a Maimer of Arba Rosh Hashanah Tov Shalom Ad Aleph. That when he learns Torah, he has to learn it with Geschmack, with delight. Why? I'm learning Torah, Kabbalah Soil. What's wrong? I must learn Torah with delight, with Geschmack. Kol Atzmoi Sei Tomarna. It's oozing, it's coming out of my fingers, it's like honey, it's like sugar. Why? The deepest thing by the Eibishter is Oinig. Like the Chachmei said, Chachmei Chakira said, Ein Lamaila me Oinig ve'ein Lamato mi Nega. There's nothing worse than a Nega, as we know now from Corona, and there's nothing better than Oinig, than pleasure. What is the deepest way for you to connect in the Eibishter within Torah Gufa? Not only that he understands Torah, which the Torah and the Eibishter is one, he becomes one with the Eibishter, but if he shares a moment of pleasure with the Eibishter, that is the deepest connection a Yid could have with the Eibishter. And that's why I would say that this Perek constantly, Dovid Hamelech is repetitive, but the bottom line is that he keeps on saying that, Torah is my delight. Even in times of worst distress, Torah is my delight. Even when I'm hiding, even when I'm in solitude, even when there's so many enemies against me, even if my survival, Rahman al-Islam, is not so clear, I am full of delight. Not only I'm not worried, I am full of delight. Why? Because that's through Torah. Because this Kapitul celebrates Torah, and the deepest connection and the way of learning Torah is through the light. Therefore, the theme in this entire Perek is about Oinig, about Sha'ashuyim, about delight. I need us to learn Torah full with delight. Torah is the best, the most geschmacka thing. Just like the Jewish mother sings to the little children, that the Roshing mit Mandeln is a gute Zach. These are candies, sugar and spice, Rojinkes, raisins and almonds. But Torah is the sweetest thing in the world. As I mentioned the other day, Chassidus says that we have to turn the nega into oinig. And that's our job right now, in the time when the world is full of there's the biggest nega in the world. There's the biggest nega in the world that's going on right now. There's never been a bigger nega tzaras in the entire world as today, ever. We have to now turn it, nahapachu, turn that nega into oinig through sitting at home and learning Torah. And then we have to take the Rosha and turn it, and the Resha, and turn it into a Shah, and into a gate for good things. And we have to take the Pesha, like in the Shchodesh, now is a Shchodesh, and we talk about Kaporas Posha, and to turn it into Shefa. Okay, let's open up. I'm sorry, I gave you so long of Akdama. Tehillim, Kapitul Kuf Yutes. Primarily, we will focus on the simplest pshat, which is the Metzudas. I know you think that Rashi is the simplest pshat, or you might think this way. So I know that when it comes to Tehillim, the Metzudas is considered the simplest pshat. Not now. Okay, turn off the light. Ashrei Smimei Dorach HaHolchim. Doesn't matter. Ashrei Smimei Dorach HaHolchim B'Toras Hashem. Zok the Metzudas. Ashrei Smimei Dorach. Ashrei. Lucky are the ones that know there no other way besides the derech of Torah. They know nothing but Torah. Their life is a beautiful life. Ashrei noitzrei eidosav b'cholei v'yidrashu. Lucky are the ones that their whole heart is to be doidish to Eibishter and learning Torah. Af loifalu avla bedrachav alachu. They don't do any avla. What does it mean that they don't do any avla and they go in the Eibishter's way? And the Metzudah says that it means that if they do a mitzvah loita, say that's good, loy poalu avla. But there has to be more than that. That they're also doing mitzvah say. You can't just play defense, like the Alter Rebbe says in the opening of Igeres Atshuva. The punishment of loita says bigger, but the pachlis of why we live is to do mitzvah say. The interesting word from the Eben Ezra is, he says, you can read it by Pashtus. A yid that doesn't do avlas to another human being, that is the derech Hashem. Person could say he's wearing shmoina begudim and he's such a zagroisa tzaddik, but about aval the ganze Welt, when it comes to business, no one could, people can't stand him because he's always, if he could just do an avla, he's going to do an avla. So that's not called going b'darkei Hashem. B'darkei Hashem means you don't step on people's toes, and you don't step on people's bodies. Next pasuk Dalet. Ata tzivisa lishmar, ata tzivisa pikudecha lishmar miyoid. That because these commandments from the Eibishter, so a person should keep them and not be Michael in them, because these are the Eibishter's command. What does ayachalai mean? Ayachalai, the Radak says it means, and the Rashi brings it in the name of the Radak, is yichul. Yichul is like a person says halavai. Halavai, I was a novi. Halavai, I was a chochem. Dovid Hamelech says, my biggest yichul, my biggest hope, my biggest bakosha to the Eibishter is that I should have no daigas from Olam Haza. I should have all I need, begashmias. Why would Dovid Hamelech want to have everything he needs, begashmias? In order to be able to do the Eibishter's chukim. In order to be able to do the Eibishter's chukim, if a person, like the Rambam says, a person is sick, if a person is poor, then he can't learn Torah and he can't do mitzvahs. So Dovid Hamelech is begging the Eibishter. He's saying, that my yichul is that that my way should go straight, I be successful in business. But why do I need money? Why do I need success? To keep your chukim. Next pasuk. That when a person does all the mitzvahs, then he has nothing to have busha for.
I think the Rabbi
Yes, very good, Shmulik. I'm gonna give me a minute. I'll tell you a beautiful word from the Rebbe. A beautiful word to the Rebbe. Why the Rambam uses this pasuk to start Sefer of Mishnah Torah. Oitcha b'yosher leivav belamde mishpat tzidkecha. I thank the Eibishter that I could learn the mishpatei tzidkecha of the Eibishter. And also, as chukecha eshmer al tazvein et moed, that I keep the mitzvahs of the Eibishter, and therefore I asked like before, I asked the Eibishter for protection in order for me to be able to do the mitzvahs. Just like him, he's asking for parnos in order to be able to do the mitzvahs. He's asking for protection in order to be able to do the mitzvahs. Okay, let's stop for a moment. We did the 8 psukim in Aleph, and I just want to show you that tonight's shiur is based on a collection from Sforim. Here are the basic Sforim that I use usually when I learn a Kapitul Tehillim. So, but one of my favorite, first of all, I just want to show you something that I'm not using tonight, but this is a terrific sefer, by the way. And I use it when I learn with my kids at their birthday, their Kapitul. Even Cherry here likes to look at this sefer. This is published recently from Dovid Nachshon, and he has a picture for each Kapitul, 150 pictures from Dovid Nachshon, and it was published by Rav Steinsaltz, Rav Steinsaltz, Rav Evan Yisrael. Okay. Yeah, that's a terrific Tehillim too. Okay. the Rebbe says like this. Why does the Rambam bring this pasuk? Oz loy evish, ba'abiti al kol mitzvaysecha. It's like the Rebbe simple. The Rambam said that you don't need any other sefer, but you learn this sefer and you know the entire Torah. So someone's going to say, "What chutzpah? Who do you think? Who you, the Rambam, you think you are? That you're going to? You're sefer, gendikt." So the Rebbe says that Chazal say that if a person has a talent, has a chush, he's not allowed to hold it back from another yid. If you know, like the Rebbe said, you know an aleph, you have to teach the other yid aleph. And if you know the whole Kol HaTorah Kula, and you could make a sefer that would work in order to teach the yid in Kol HaTorah Kula, you're obligated to teach it to every yid. See, the Rambam says, the Rambam didn't know who he is, and he knew that was his ability. He had unbelievable koyach to digest the entire Torah and put it together, and therefore he will not stand back. The Alter Rebbe brings that a yid has to come in this world and be mechadash in Torah, and if he doesn't do his part, mechadash in Torah, he's going to have to be in his galgal a second time. And same thing, every talent that a yid has, he has to use it the fullest to help another yid. And there's no reason to be busha. Says the Rambam, because I knew Kol Mitzvah and I'm going to make the sefer. And if the Ravid, the Chach Milunio, and the G'dorli Yisrael want to argue with me, it's their prerogative to argue with me. And I will answer them. And if I'm a moida, I'll be moida al emes. But I'm going to share what I have with Klal Yisrael. Okay, that just before we start the next, which is Beis, it's a beautiful word from the Baal Shem Tov, and there's a story to it too. The next is Beis. B'mei yizake nares orchoi lishmer kidvorecha. So the Baal Shem Tov said, the Pshat in the Pasuk, B'mei yizake nares orchoi, that the Pshat is like this. If a Yid wants to be Zoichet to have a child, B'mei yizake nar, if a Yid wants to have a nar, he wants to have a son, he should be Machnes Oirech. There's a letter from the Friedeke Rebbe, 1930, to a Yid in Detroit. And the person asked for a bracha for a son, and the Friedeke Rebbe said, you should be Machnes Oirech to Yidden who are B'nei Torah, because the bracha that they will give you for the Achnosas Orchim will produce for you a child. And this was this was what happened when the Alter Rebbe came to the Maggid, and the Alter Rebbe asked the Maggid for a bracha for a son. He told him, B'mei yizake nares orchoi, the word from the Baal Shem Tov, you should have Orchim. And Kiyudua, the story of the Baal Shem Tov's father himself, that he was Zoichet to have the Baal Shem Tov because of his unbelievable Achnosas Orchim. There's a story about he was tested with his patience with Achnosas Orchim, and he had unbelievable amount of patience. And with this, he was Zoichet to have a son like the Baal Shem Tov. Okay, next. Beis. B'mei yizake nares orchoi lishmer kidvorecha. B'mei, how are you going to be mezaka nar? How are you going to be mezaka your child? Lishmer kidvorecha. That to teach him the Maisa. It's a very important thing. L'chayr is very simple. What's the big chiddush? In other words, like this, the Rebbe always used to talk about this. The Rebbe always spoke about it, and the Radak says it very, very, spells it out very nicely. The Rebbe used to say, this is the problem with American educational system, that it's all academics. It's all academics. And the problem is that that's not what chinuch is all about. The Radak writes, Im yilmad v'lo yasake limudei, ein zach, ein ze ele mechur, v'zecher lenar loidia, ki zocher lenar loidia, ki k'mo shechai vodem l'chanach nar b'limud, kein tzorach l'chanach, b'keit nusay, b'maisa sheyishmer lasas ma shelo imed. If the kid will be in the seragal to do the right thing when he's young, then it'll stick with him when he grows older. Education is not just about knowing information. It's about teaching them that Paul Mama should do the right thing. With my whole heart, I search for you. Therefore, I'm asking you that I shouldn't be al tashgeni. I shouldn't make a shgoga. I shouldn't be shoige. I shouldn't make a mistake in understanding the ways of the Torah. I should understand a person could learn and sometimes make a mistake in the pshat and therefore do the wrong thing. It's all guarded in my heart because I'm scared that I would sin. If I will forget, if I forget and I don't know a mitzvah, then I'll end up chas v'shalom inadvertently having done a sin. Baruch ata Hashem lamdenu chukechem. Therefore I say, thank Hashem for teaching me the Torah, that I don't stumble and I don't make a mistake, and continue teaching it to me. That this Torah I also teach. So therefore, there's another reason why I request from the Rabbanu Shalom that he should guide me, that I should never make a mistake, because my learning is not only for myself, it's also to teach other Yidden. So if chas v'shalom I will falter, they will also. If I'll make a mistake, they will also make a mistake. In your way of learning Torah, this is to me a joy more than any wealth. In your pikudim in Torah, which is the pikudim the Eibishter I speak, and I look at the ways of Hashem in a deep way. Abita means not only Marsov lachutz. I look at it in a very deep way. Now it comes to the high point. I am. These are my shashuim, because therefore I will not forget. What does that mean? Poshet. Something which is not your greatest delight, you might forget. Maybe you have your fancy phone and you say, remind me tomorrow to call Ploini ben Ploini and Ploini ben Ploini. And then the phone was off to Fisio. You forgot. Phone. That's not your fault, it's the phone. But something that's your greatest delight, you don't forget. You don't wake up in the morning if you have something really delightful that you prepared for the next day, you don't totally forget about it. You don't totally forget something which is pleasure and full of delight. So when Torah is to a Yid, full of pleasure and delight, Zok Dovid Hamelech, that's the eitzah that he will never forget any of the mitzvahs HaTorah or any of the chukas HaTorah, anything he learns. What was the latest report about how many people were infected with corona in New York and in Westchester and in Suffolk County and in Chvezvu? Who cares? Who knows? He heard it 100 times. It goes into one ear, it goes out the other. He didn't go into the first ear. But when a Yid learns Torah is my delight. Torah is my pleasure. Therefore, this is the Chazak Shmak Gezach. How can I forget it? I learned alumdus about Bracha Rishona and Bracha Charoina. I learned about alumdus about Kavona Hafochis. How can I forget about this? It's delicious. When it's delicious, I won't forget it. If it's delicious, I will never forget it. Next. We already did a Vort Chassidus from this, which is on the base. Bamei Yizak Naras Orcha Lishma Kedvarech. As I said before, how is a Yid Zoicha to have a child is through Achnosas Orchim, like the story of the Baal Shem Tov and his father, the story of the Alter Rebbe and the Maggid. Next, we're holding a Gimel. Gemoyel Alavdacha Echya Ve'eshmera Devorecha. That Gemoyel Chesed, give me this Chesed. Why? Why should the Eibishter give me this Chesed? Why should the Eibishter give me Chesed? That I should live a good and healthy life. Echya. That I should live a good and healthy life. Because Eshmera Devorecha. When I will have a good and healthy life, I'm not going to be running to try to satiate myself with Gashmizdika pleasures. All I'm going to do is dedicate myself to learning Torah. So Ribbon Shalom, please give me a healthy life. Save me from any pegoim, from this nasty corona, v'chulu v'chulu. because it's not for Anos Olam Haza. Before I continue, I want to dedicate the shir. There's Aleph Beis Gimel, and there was the third person I forgot that I wanted to dedicate the shir for, and I want to mention something. My mother goes on Miftzayim Yomam V'Layla. It's her big thing that she goes on Miftzayim, and she already purchased together with my father somewhere in the order of about 2,000 matzahs. Now how to distribute them is a separate problem. But unfortunately, she has this dreadful thing, and she's in NYU. It's really, it's you can't go visit her. She couldn't go to the hospital with my father. She went herself. I hope I sent her a package today, but they have a policy that you can't send food. And the food that they have there that is kosher it stinks. Mamish, it's really bad. So and anyway, you know what kind of it's salt and pepper, and then those frozen meals that are not really good anyway.
How's she feeling?
So she's feeling very schwach. They said that it's under control, and but I don't know. She's sounding very bad. I hope she have it a full shlema come home before Shabbos.
It's going on. She has going on.
Yeah. So my brother,
okay?
Yeah, he's okay, Baruch Hashem. So my brother tried a trick yesterday. I'm telling you this just in case Chas v'Shalom, you know, so this is probably a common problem that they have this policy because they don't want to let in. You can't bring packages. So what do you mean? But it doesn't make sense. Some people have special diets. Don't worry, we'll give them kosher food. But what kind of kosher food? This is it's taka kosher. It's taka kosher, but it's not roy lachilas kelev. So my brother tried a trick yesterday and it worked. We developed the thought together. You could send some items, important items that they need, like a sweater of a chulu. So he packed up the food, and outside he put a sweater and some magazines, and so it was brought to the front door. Someone brought it into the front desk, and eventually they brought it upstairs. First, the nurse didn't want to give it to her because she got chapped as food. Anyway, I tried the same thing tonight. I hope to hear from her back. I still didn't hear. I even tried. I put in the inner bag, I put a long note saying, please have some compassion, because the recipient of this bag is not eating any of the food in the hospital. So please deliver it to her hand and don't not deliver it. Anyway, Dave shall help and that should work. So my mother does a lot of miftzayim, and she really puts her whole life into it. So Dave shall help, and she should have a full shlema, because that Dovid Hamelech says, why does he deserve to have chayim, to have long life and a healthy life? Because he's going to keep the words of the Eibishter and also spread the words of the Eibishter. Open my eyes and I want to see the wonders in the Torah. That just like a person who is living in a place and he's waiting to go back to where he really lives. The same thing, a Yid in this world, the Neshama belongs to be close to the Eibishter, learning Torah in Gan Eden. But the Pnimiyas HaTorah that a Yid learns in Gan Eden is based on the Nigla the Torah that he learned in this world. So he says that I'm only a Gate, I'm only living thoroughly the Gashmias in this world. So please don't hold back your mitzvahs, because I know I need to learn these mitzvahs of Nigla the Torah in order to be Zoicha in Pnimiyas HaTorah in Gan Eden. Gorsa nafshi next pasuk. Gorsa nafshi l'sava al mishpatecha v'chalais. Gorsa means that my nefesh is tzibrochim, because there's so much taiva to know the Eibishter's mishpatim, the Eibishter's Torah. Garta zeidim arurim ashogim mitzvasecha. The Eibishter makes a geora against the Rishoyim that go against the mitzvahs. Galme alai cherpa uvuz. Take off from me, says Dovid Hamelech. Cherpa uvuz. The booze is the bad things that people speak about him, and the busha that they try to create to him. Because I keep your mitzvahs. Why? So says that Metzudas Dovid, that because the Dovid Hamelech is holding in his Torah, so it's not covered that Torah, that there should be bushit to Dovid Hamelech. You notice one of the common threads here in the Simon, in this, in this Kapitul, is that he's asking for good life, he's asking to not have busha, and he's asking to have success and health and wealth, not because he needs Olam Hazeh, but because he needs, in order to be able to sit and learn Torah and teach Torah to another Yid. Gam Yashru Sorim Binid Baru, Avdecha Yasiach B'chukecha. That the Sorim are sitting and they're talking Divrei Narishkeit. Rashi says not only that, they're making latzonos of Dovid Hamelech, but he doesn't care. He's just sitting and learning Torah. Gamei the Secher Shashui Anshe Asosi, that the Eibishter Eidos, the Eidos is the Eibishter's mitzvahs in the Torah. Specifically, there are certain mitzvahs that are called Eidos, like the Yomim Tovim. That's my delight. And that's what I talk to Anshe Asosi, to the people that are close to me, like the Mittler Rebbe said, that is all he wants, that when two Chassidim meet, they talk about Yechudei Lo and Yechud Tato. Anshe Asosi, the people, when I whisper to them, what am I talking to them about? In Torah. Dovka la'ofer nafshi chayeni kedvarecha. My nefesh is bottled till the dust. Why? Because he was told through Nosan Hanavi that he will suffer for his sins. So he says to Eibishter, now that he already came down to the dust, so he's asking that now the Eibishter should be machayim. The Eibishter said he's going to suffer, but then he's going to come back. And Avshalom, his son, chased him out of Yerushalayim, and he waged war against him. And he knew from Nosan Hanavi that this is going to happen. But now that it happened, he's asking the Eibishter, now that I already went down to the dust, the Eibishter should, the other promise that things will turn around and he should come quick. That should be chayeni kedvarecha. Droche separti v'taneni lamdenu chukecha. That I'm always asking a eitzah for the Eibishter. So teach me your Torah. Derech pikudecha avineni. That I should understand the way of the Eibishter's pikudim. V'asicha b'nifloisach, and I will talk about the niflos of the Torah. Dolfa nafshi mituga chayeni dolfa nafshi mituga chayeni kidvarecha. So dolfa means that the nebach, his nefesh was like melted. So from his tzoros, but the Torah kept him up. Derech sheker hosem imenu teroscha chaneni. Take away from me the derech sheker, and the Torah should give me chen. Derech amuna b'chorti, that he picks the derech of amuna. Dovid Hamelech picks mishpatecha shivisi. I look in front of me. Is only the mishpatim of the Eibishter of the Torah. The vakti beidasecha. Hashem al tevisheni, I'm Dovid in the Eibishter, so therefore I shouldn't have any busha. Derech mitzvah charetz kesachiv libi. I'm going bezrizus to do the mitzvahs. So, because I know that kisachiv libi, the mitzvahs, is the one that's going to make me a wide path in life. Okay, let's stop here after the Gimel and the Dalet. Okay, let's learn something that Pichsid is from the Gimel and the Dalet. Gal Eina v'abita niflos metoira secha. As we know, Gal Eina is lag. Gal is lag. That tells us about lag ba'omer. Okay. Lag ba'omer. Gal Eina. What's the connection of Gal Eina v'abita niflos metoira secha and lag ba'omer? It's pashut. Through Lag Ba'omer was the Stalkus Neilula of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. It was Megala to Klal Yisrael, the Zohar HaKodesh, and the Pnimis HaTorah. Gal Eina v'abita niflos m'Torah Sech. We're asking that through Lag Ba'omer, Yid is Zoicha to see to the Torah of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Yid is Zoicha to see the niflos of Torah, and to us it comes through Limud the Torah Sachasidus. The Rebbe has an interesting diuk in the Maimer Gal Eina v'abita niflos m'Torah Sech and Tov Shalom Zayin. He says, why is it that it's Gal Einai, open my eyes? I mean, l'choira, the Torah is niflos. It's hidden. It's be'etzem hidden. It's be'etzem hidden. It's tomor. It's like a treasure. It's tomor mechusa. It's a treasure. So it's not only gal einai, open my eyes that I should find the treasure. Reveal the treasure. Zok the Rebbe that true, but the answer is simple. The point is to have a dira b'tachtonim, and the Medrash says, "Moshel Hamelech shegozer v'amabnei roimi lo yared lo suri b'nei sura lo yar lo roimi." That there was they closed the border. They closed the border, knowing it was open borders from one country to the other country. Came the chait, came the chatoim. Everything was good. They could go from heaven to earth, from earth to heaven. Then came the sins. All of a sudden, Corona came along, and they closed all the borders. No more traveling. Roimi can't go to Syria. Syria can't go to Roimi. They closed all the borders. They grounded all the planes. So the Eibishter said, "That's it. Shemaim, Shemaim, Lashem, Varetz Nasan Levnei Adam." When he gave the Torah, he was mevatel the Gezer. He said, "Tachtonim yalol yonim ve'yonim yerol tachtonim v'ani amaschil shenema yered Hashem ha'ar Sinai." Even though the Eibishter first came down, the Yonim went down to Tachtonim, but first the Medrash says Tachtonim Yalal Yonim, because the Iker is the Tachtonim should be Oila. How do we be Oila? How do we elevate and inspire and pick ourselves up and purify ourselves? The Eibishter has to give us the koyach, so the Eibishter comes down, but the point is that we should elevate ourselves. Same thing here. The Iker is Gal Einai, that it should be a part of me, that my eyes should see it. I should see it as part of me. I should see it with my eyes. Not only that Chassidus should be revealed, but I should see it with my eyes, with my perspective. I should get it. That's a pshat. Galeina v'abita leflos metorasecha. Nebishalafim the taka lag ba'omer lag gal. We should be zoiche taka to be galeina v'abita leflos metorasecha. Let's continue. We're holding ois. We're holding the letter hey. Hayrini Hashem derech chukecha v'tzerenu ekev. Neibishter, show me your way, and I'm going to keep it up to the end of my life, to the ekev, means to the bottom of my life. Avineni, make sure I should understand. Ve'etzera Torah secha ve'shmerena b'choleiv. I should understand, and I should keep the Torah with my whole heart. Teach me the ways of the mitzvahs, because that's my whole chayfetz. And Chazal say, that my heart should be in the mitzvahs and not into botza. Botza is money. That my heart should be in the Torah and not into money. That my eyes should see. I shouldn't be looking at Shov, at Taivas Olam Haza, which is vanity. My passion should be b'derochecha, in your ways of Torah. That should be my chayis. Hokem la'avdachem rasecha shel yirasecha. Pick a hokem, be mekayim, the promise to you, the promise that he's going to be successful. Dovid Hamelech. Hokem la'avdachem rasecha shel yirasecha, in order that I should be able to do Yiras Hashem. As you see, it's very repetitive. Dovid Hamelech is using the same idea, but different oisias, asking the Eibishter for a good life, a chayis, in order for what? To be able to learn Torah, asking the Eibishter to open his eyes to understand Torah, in order to be able to understand it and teach it to another Yid. That there is a cherpa. What's the cherpa? There is an embarrassment to the sins of Dovid Hamelech, his embarrassment. And Asher Yagorti, he's scared of it. I'm scared of it, said Dovid Hamelech. But please, Haver, take away the sin. Because the Eibishter's mishpat is good, which is to take away and wipe away the sin. You could also say because Torah is Tov, and Torah wipes away the person's sin, as we'll say later. My whole taiva is in the Eibish's Pikudim. So therefore, the Eibish should give us Chayes with the Eibish Tzidkes Vivuni Vav. Now we're holding Vav Vivuni Chasadecha Hashem Tshoscha Kim Rasecha. That the Eibish should make that the Chesed should come to me, just like Nasnav Navi said. Ve'en Chorfi Dover Kivatachti B'Dvarecha, and I'll be able to those that are Macharef me. Those that embarrass me and the macharif, then I should be able to answer them because I trust in your words they'll come true. Tatzal doesn't mean save over here. Tatzal means don't take away from me the Dvar Emes, which is Torah, because my whole yichul is to be in Torah. So please make sure that I never make a mistake while I learn Torah, that my Torah should be Torah's Emes. And this way I'll be able to keep the Torah, because if I'll make a mistake, then he's not keeping Torah. If I'm never going to make a mistake in Torah, I'm going to go in a wide road, because if you're in a narrow road, easily you fall and falter. Because I'm looking only for the Pikudim, therefore I light up my eyes. But I will talk in the edus of the Torah against the Malachim, and I will not be embarrassed. So what does that mean? So some of Farshim say, like Ibn Ezra, that the Malachim, people are scared of them. But Dovid is not scared because he's connected to Torah. The Radak says a very nice thing. The Malachim say, we are involved in politics and this, and we know how to run a government. Who you, Dovid HaMelech? What's your experience? Who gave you the experience of being a king? You know what it means to a king? We have degrees from Ivy League colleges. We know a thing or two about leadership. What do you know? David HaMelech says, I have no busha at all, because everything I'm going to win over in any taina, because I know everything from the Torah. And my shashuim will be in the mitzvahs which I love. They're all interchangeable. Eidesecha, mitzvah means Torah. There's Eidus mitzvahs and chukim. There's Eidus chukim in the mitzvahs in the Torah, but we're talking about Torah, which is, and my delight is in the mitzvahs, which I love. As I said before in the introduction, that Adak says, even if I'm in quarantine, even if I'm in solitude, and even if the whole world is on a big lockdown, and people are going mishuga, people are pashat going crazy, and people don't know how they're going to be able to pass this time. Dovid HaMelech says, it don't bother me. It doesn't bother me, he says. It doesn't touch me, Dovid HaMelech says. I'm sitting in a bubble of delight. I'm sitting even in solitude, because, as we said before, Oineg, ein l'mayla ma'oineg. Oineg, a person you don't, for chesed, you need a neighbor to be able to exercise chesed with. Oineg is shashua melech b'atzmus. It's a delight. If you could delight could be with you and yourself. You want to say for Tehillim in your hand, and you're full of delight. You want to look with the sichas, and you're full of delight.
I scared of BKs when I go back to work.
You got so used to visits to Malay and to Machaya. So then you'll say to him, Kuf, you test a lot of kavona, that the Rebbeinu Shalom should take care of it without the work. The Esachapai El Mitzvah Asher Ahafti Vasicha V'chukecha. It's the last pasuk in the Vav. That I will pick up my hands to take the mitzvahs because I love them. Therefore, I'm going to pick up my hands as much as I could to take them, and I will talk about them all the time. The Kahos sent out a thing that they are closing. Then they decided they're going to have curbside. They're going to have curbside service, but Sunday they said that I went into a panic. I'm looking for the fresh sefer that was advertised that it's just coming out, the next Toras Menachem. So Baruch Hashem, my daughter ran, and she was able to get there before the store closed. And I'm telling you, I had such a when I got that sefer, because I look up these svarim, I eat them from cover to cover. Not only do I look them up from cover to cover, but I share them too. But Baruch Hashem, I got that sefer.
They probably sell Sporim online instead of going this in the.
And I asked them, I called them, they said, no, we're not going to be sending it on, we're not going to be, could be they, on Sunday when I called, I panicked, but my daughter got there, Baruch Hashem, before they closed. That was my biggest delight.
Maybe they have no worker to ship it. That's the problem also.
Maybe, yeah, could be.
You need somebody to take the paper, look for the book, put it in the box. Right.
They do have now curbside service, so you can get some stuff from them. Weiter. Let's try to get to Yud. We're holding Zion. We're starting the Oy Zion. That Dovid Hamelech is saying, remember your promises to Dovid Hamelech says, remember your promises to me, and so therefore I want to my yichul is to see the Eibishter's words of comfort come true. My nechama in my time of poverty is the Torah. The Torah, the Eibishter's Amiris, gives me chayas. Zaydim helitzuni, Zaydim are those that do avedas bezoden. So they made litzonas ad miyoid. They can't stop making litzonas from Dovid Hamelech. But I then turn away from Torah. Therefore, I don't care what they say and what they think. I remember your mishpatim, and that is my nechama. Therefore, I don't care what they laugh and what they say. There is a ra that goes into Dovid Hamelech from those that are going away from the Torah, but still Torah, the fact that he has Torah comforts him. In the place of Megurei, of fear, in the house of fear, when Dovid Hamelech's life was on the line and he was on the lamb, that he was running away from Dovid Hamelech's sword, that the chukim of Torah was like a song to be mesameachim. Dovid Hamelech said, this was to me a simcha. There is a lot of chassidus on this, by the way, in this pasuk.
He was running away from.
Mara talks about this. Zacharti when he was running for Shaul, yeah. Zacharti v'layla shimcha Hashem v'eshmer teresecha. I remember in the time of nighttime, in the time of darkness, also in the time when at night when people start thinking of their daigas, he says, "I'm thinking nothing of Torah." This my success that I have now is all because I kept the Torah. My chelik, what's my thing in life is keeping the Eibishter's words. My yearning with my whole heart is your face, is the countenance of the Eibishter, which is through Torah. That I'm running to learn the edus of the Eibishter. That's b'mehirus. I do it very quickly because I'm very excited about the mitzvahs and about learning Torah. That the Chabudas Rishoyim, which tried to rob him, they robbed him, but he didn't care because he didn't forget the Torah. They could rob his possessions, but they couldn't rob his Torah. I wake up to thank you for the mitzvahs of the Torah. The Gemara says in the beginning of Brachas, we learned it, the Machlokes. One opinion says, and then he was Mizgabe Kari to learn Torah. The other opinion says that until Chatzos he was Oisek B'Torah, and after Chatzos he was doing Shiras V'Tishbachas of Tehillim. I am a friend to everyone that has the fear of Hashem, and all that keeping the mitzvahs. Not Sfardi, Ashkenazi, he's this Kreis, that Kreis. Every Yid that learns Torah, he's involved in Torah, I'm his friend. There's a very important thing. Sometimes, we get so involved with parties. We have to be Chavaroni, I want to help every Yid that's involved in the union of spreading Yiddish Shemaim, and every Yid that's involved in the Shemri Pikudecha, keeping the Torah. Chazda Hashem ala Oretz, Chokech Lamdena, the Eibish's Chesed fills the world. Therefore, I'm asking, do this Chesed to me, to teach me Torah. Toiv Asisei Ma'avdecha, Hashem Kidvarecha, that I'm thanking the Eibishter for the Toiv, that he taught me Torah. Tuv Tam Vadas Lamdeni, Ki Mitzvah Monti. The Tuv Tam Vadas, the Geschmack that's in Torah, the Toiv Tam that's in Torah, he says, please teach it to me, because I believe in the mitzvahs, so I deserve to know the Tam and the Torah. Teremeni ani shoygig v'ata imroscha v'ata imroscha shamorti. That Torah is mateshes koicha. It's terem ena. It's a sort of a little bit of a torture. A person could relax. A person could sleep. A person tortures a little bit his body and sleeps less and exercises maybe a little less. Torah is makeshes koicha shalodem, but he says it doesn't matter. It's all worth in order to learn Torah. So if I didn't do it, if I didn't force myself to learn Torah, I would be like an amoritz, so I'd make mistakes and I would do avedas b'shogeg. But now that I'm learning Torah, I'm keeping the mitzvahs. The is good himself and he does good. Like Chassidus says, Zerech HaToiv Lahetiv. We have to know that the Eibishter is only Toiv. And Toiv is, the Teva HaToiv is Lahetiv. So therefore, teach me the Torah. That there's the Zaydim that do Avedas Bezoden, and they try to put a sheker on top of the Melech, but he's not phased. He's still keeping the Pekudecha. They say that Dovid the Melech, he looks like a tzaddik in the outside, and the inside it's not true. Tofash kachelev libam vanito roscha shashuti. By them, their heart gets full. It's like the arteries get clogged, full with the butter and margarine and oil and fat and schmaltz. Yeah, Pesach schmaltz and chicken schmaltz. So they, because of they're so involved in Tanugas El Mazah, so their heart becomes like tough. The valves in their heart becomes ungestoppt with chaylev, but by me, Torah is my delight. It's good to me that I should torture myself a little bit to deprive myself from sleep, and Torah is mateshes karech shlodem. But as long as I can learn the chukim of the Eibishter, it's good to me the Torah of the Eibishter from thousands of pieces of gold and silver. Just like, in other words, what is Dovid HaMelech saying? Pashtus. Just like there are people that will travel to the other end of the world, they will travel to the other end of the world to do business, and they will endanger themselves in order to do business, in order to get alfei azav achesef, piles of gold and silver. He says, but I don't care about gold and silver. But just like they will risk their life for gold and silver, I will put myself out in order to do Torah. Yodecha asuni vayechinenuni avineni ve'almada mitzvesecha. That everything is from the Eibishter's hand. Yerecha yeruni v'yismachu kile dvorcha yacholti. In this gedula that Dovid HaMelech finally has, so Yerecha, those that have Yiddish Shemaim, Yeruni, they look at Dovid HaMelech v'yismachu and they're happy because they have a yichul to the words of the Eibishter. In other words, those that have Yiddish Shemaim, when they see Dovid HaMelech is successful, they don't say, burn their liver. This guy is so successful. Why does he deserve it? Forget. They see that the Eibishter promise is good for a Yid that learns Torah, and Dovid HaMelech got all this good and all this. Oh, great! He says, I'm also going to learn Torah, and I'm also be meyachel to the brachas of the Eibishter. I will join Dovid HaMelech's recipe for success. Yudaiti Hashem ki tzedek mishpatecha v'amuna inisoni. I know, says for the past, that everything was tzedek and all inisoni, all the suffering, was for a good reason. It was be'amuna. Yinoch Azdachal and Achmeni, but Abish's chesed should from now on going forward should be only to be Menachemi. Kimeroschel Avdecha, like you promised that after Abish said to Nos Navi, after he'll suffer, then he'll be oiled back to Dulit. Because his sins will be wiped away. Yevuni Rachamecha Ve'eche Kirot Shashui. Oh, I said this. Yevushu Zaydim Kisheker Ivisuni Aniasech Befikudach. That the Zaydim, those that do Aveda Bezodan, they'll have a busha because they said sheker against David. Why is it sheker? So why is it a sheker? Did he never sin? No, he sinned. There was a terrible sin with Basheva. What can you see? How can you say it's a sheker? It's an unbelievable thing. Because Torah is matzelis min avel. So because David HaMelech says, I'm learning Torah, the sins have been wiped away. The sins have been wiped away. So therefore they think that I sinned. Yes, it was in the Wall Street. It was all over the newspapers. Everyone knows David HaMelech sinned. So they say, oh, they have what to say. But it's really a sheker because he was putting so much work in learning Torah that sin got wiped away. So now that the Zaydim have busha, because they wiped away the sins of David HaMelech, so the Yerecha, those of Yerushalayim, returned to David HaMelech, and the Secha returned to be with David HaMelech. He doesn't have bad feelings to them. When they heard Lashon Hara and they went away from him, okay. But now that the sin was wiped away and they're coming back, he's happy. That my heart should be always tomim, should be complete with the chukim of the Torah. And this way, I'm never going to have any busha in life. Okay, so we completed the first 10 kapitlach, and they help that we should develop a deep geschmack, a deep sense of pleasure in every shtickle Torah we learn. It should be oozing out of us. It should be like sugar and honey, and it should be our shashuyim. And the Eibusha should help that in Mitzvah Hashem, we're starting to learn Kapitul, Kuf, Yutes, and Tehillim. And either those that are going to say it every single day, or as I spoke about this last year, if you're going to say it up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, and say some of it throughout the week, and do it throughout the week, like Alton says in Tanya. Either way, that by saying this Kapitul, it should unleash in us an unbelievable pleasure in Torah. And as a result of that, the nega should be turned into oinig. The nega of this world should be turned into oinig, and should be gal einai v'abita nefloas metoida secha bevias Mashiach tzedkeinu.
Amen. Don't forget to daven Ma'ariv and say Yalla V'yavoi.
Rabbi, what's your mother's name? Hanabat?
Chava.
Chava, thank you.
Sure, you're welcome.
We have to wipe out the 19 because it's the 119.
Yeah. I hope by doing this Kapitul we'll manage to do that.
Kuf Yutet.
Yes.
Corona Yutet. They call it Corona Yutet.
Yeah. Exactly. Very good. I got it. It's good. Good. Hatzlacha.
Yeah, sure.
Slacha, Rabbi. Thank you.
Oh,
Good enough.
Tamim is here?
Tamim's asleep.
Okay. So you remember Tamim's bris?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, okay. We mentioned about it before. I don't know if you want when you
I got on there.
started this year. Okay, the boys say tomorrow night Hashem will have a Fabrengen if the Olam wants. Lakovid Beis Nissen. Is there a shir tomorrow night in Tanya?
10 o'clock. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
What time is the shir?
Usually at 9.
9.
Okay, so then we can make the Olam want to Fabreng tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Nothing better.
Okay. Okay. Terrific. Terrific. Okay, parents, you'll make sure that there is enough mashke and farbaisim for everyone. Okay, listen, if you can't do it yourself, delegate it. A gute Nacht, Shirley.
לילה טוב.
Good enough. Thank you.
Okay, Kaltev, a gute Nacht. See you tomorrow night.
Hashem.
Good night.
Tov, refresh your mother.